cool how it was, it's the short version, but Gomez crossed the ball all the way across the field, and then it came all the way back, and then finally got it to Darwin. But my bottom line is I think Gomez was doing a good job of getting the ball to Quintero early on in that game.
And that's what he should. That's what he should be doing. Yeah. That's what he should be doing every game.
The thing I'll say is I looked on the Audi Player Index. I'm starting to like that more and more. I bring it up every episode, but I was shocked to see that Gomez's rating was only 181.
Yeah, that's pretty low.
So maybe there was.
Did you look to see the stats as what made him negative?
I can pull that up. I haven't.
What made him negative is he sucks.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So, thank you for suggesting that I might actually be right statistically, which is always a good thing. But I don't necessarily say that he was bad. I just don't think he had a quote-unquote very good game. I mean, at halftime we got together up at the concourse and we were chatting about it. And I said he was okay. Yeah. Because he had two very specific instances where he didn't look okay.
Yeah.
And I forget what the first one was, but the second one was his shot that was actually a pretty solid shot. John, you remember that. The screamer that just missed. Or from our perspective, looked like it just missed.
It's close, yeah.
Ultimately, my complaint with that was we had Rodriguez wide open in the box.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, if he could have done a cross right to his head, like he did all the way across the box to Ibarra on the goal, that would have been a goal.
Yeah, it would have been.
Or at least a good shot.
Yeah.
Right? A good chance. And so for me, that is Gomez to a T.
Mm-hmm.
He does these things where it's like he's right there, which makes me think that maybe we're going to sign him.
Mm-hmm.
Because he's like Sam Nicholson. He's like right on the edge of being something.
But he makes too many mistakes, though, at this point.
And he does. He makes way too many mistakes.
And that is why you guys are correct. I'm trying to play devil's advocate and get on his side, but that's it. He makes too much mistakes. And getting back to that Audi index we brought up, why was it so low when someone like myself thought he played a good game? Well, it basically came down to mistakes. The biggest three knocks against him were unsuccessful passes in his own half and unsuccessful passes in the opposition half.
Pretty sure that one of my complaints was against. Okay. I'm pretty sure one of my complaints was against the pass.
Yeah.
I thought just looking at what knocked him down so much, the unsuccessful passes, you brought up a point where it wasn't necessarily an unsuccessful pass, but he missed an opportunity.
Right.
And we talked about this before with Gomez, is he makes mistakes with the passing. The passing is, he's got to get better at making passes.
Yeah.
He's out of control a lot of the time.
And the thing is as a wingback, if he's going to play that position in a 3-5-2, that's what he is there for.
Mm-hmm.
The whole point of his position is to spread the defense and cross it.
Do you know what happens whenever he gets the ball? You know what goes on in my mind? I hear the song going, do 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 do. What's he gonna do next? Do 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 do. I swear to God, that's what happens every time he gets the ball when I'm watching him. He needs to get better at that, and I think he can be a great player if he gets better at passing.
Well, and maybe it comes down to something that we've said numerous times about Quintero, his soccer IQ.
Yes.
Maybe Gomez has the skill. He just doesn't quite have that IQ.
Yeah.
Which, at his age, what is he, 22?
Is he 20? I think he's 24.
Quintero?
No, Gomez.
If he's below 25, it's okay.
That'll come.
Your prime is
That'll come.
26 to 30.
Mm-hmm. That'll come.
Yeah, so, it's fine if his IQ's a little low.
Mm-hmm.
And so, in the offseason, if we end up signing him permanently, because I know we have that option.
We do.
I think I'd be okay with that.
Mm-hmm.
Now, I think we should have done that.
25?
Yeah.
Okay.
25? Okay, so he's right on the edge.
He's right on there, yeah.
I think we should have done that with Sam.
Again.
So the fact that I'd be okay with Gomez, it makes makes me a little hypocritical, maybe. But I think at 25, also, I don't know. He's getting to that point.
You should be getting there at some point. I mean, you should start having some good IQ about the game as a whole. I mean, look at Darwin. He's 30, and he knows everything that's going on.
Yeah.
He knows when to pass. He knows when to shoot. He knows guys are. He's got that locked in. And if Gomez can get a little bit of that, I would be cool with him being on this team. But right now, he started last night, but he didn't start. Did he start against Vancouver? I don't think he did. Or was it LAFC he didn't start against?
I think he did because Romario Ibar Jr.
Okay.
Came in as a sub, unless Miller's
in LAFC.
No, against Vancouver. I don't remember. I literally just watched him.
I don't think he started one of the last couple games.
Romario?
Gomez.
Yeah.
I think he was out.
But it might have been Miller that started.
It was the Vancouver game. Miller came in for Gomez.
Okay.
I think Gomez.
Okay, so Gomez started.
Okay, that hurt.
So Gomez did start.
Yeah. I mean, he's kind of Ibsen, honestly.
Yeah.
But Ibsen's more frustrating because of the fact that he's older.
Yes.
And he should know better. Gomez, he had. I would agree with Dave. He had those moments last night where it was like, that's what we want to see. In fact, his cut-ins were exactly what we want to see. In fact, I mentioned to John on his shot that he clearly has absolutely no right foot. No. Because he cut in and he immediately took that extra moment to get on his left foot to take the shot. Mm-hmm. And quite honestly, that might have been what made it go off, because the defender got in a little bit more and he felt like he had to compensate.
He hurt it. Yeah. I will say, you've been talking a lot about Ibsen today. I will say in the past couple games, I've gotten more and more frustrated with him and his ball handling at midfield. I every time he gets it, I'm scared that he's going to make a mistake.
And I could bitch a little bit more about the supporter section. Guaranteed, again, if you liked Ibsen, you're a supporter. If you're Dark Cloud, guaranteed you like Ibsen. Look, fantastic supporter section. We have hugely fantastic supporter section.
Yeah.
I love what they do in the community. I love what they do for the atmosphere. But my God, it's not the NASL anymore.
No.
I get it. Ibsen was here when we were nothing.
Yep.
But he's not any good.
No.
He has some flashing moments of what he was, and they're surrounded by 80% of crap. Mm-hmm. And it's... Yeah.
I think that the supporter section, and I'll give them all the props, great section, right? I think 90% of those people are homers.
Thank you.
Thanks.
90% of those guys are homers, right?
Right.
And so every player, they're like, oh, he's great. I don't know if I could ever be like that with a team. I mean, Dave, you're a big Vikings fan.
Yes.
Do you think every player on the Vikings is a good player?
No.
Exactly right.
And it's funny that Dave brought up the point homer. I mean, I fit that bill. I am a homer by definition.
Yeah.
However, I don't think it's unfair to be critical of certain players.
It's not unfair to be critical.
Sorry, I have to say, it's fantastic to hear somebody admit that they're a homer.
Yeah.
Oh, I don't have a problem
Well,
with that.
Dave is a big Minnesota sports fan homer, though.
Absolutely.
I'm the way with the Twins, though. I look at it and I go, if a guy's not doing well, I totally am down. I will say I'm down on this guy. I will not sit there and make up excuses for why he's not doing well. I will not sit there and say, well, he had a bad game, but he's going to be great. No. Yeah. It is. You see it. It is what it is.
And just to be clear, like when I bring up points, about Gomez and Ibsen or whoever it is, I'm not doing that because I absolutely support Gomez or absolutely support Ibsen. I just want to provide a little counter to your points.
And I want this deal. We can all agree here, guys. We want this to be the best team we can have.
Right.
Okay. So when we're making these comments about these guys, It's things that we're seeing that I don't think play well in MLS, and other guys can do a better job. You know, so making some roster changes or making some lineup changes might be the best thing. And I'm sure people would come on and say, well, Gomez, you just need to give Gomez time. Well, how much more time can we possibly give him?
Right.
If we give him all year, if we start him most of the games this year, and then we come out and we sign him, and we go into next year with him starting, and he totally sucks, we're going to look like fools.
Right. I agree.
Our front office is going to look stupid, like they have looked before with some of the signings we've done or the non-signings we've done. You know, Manny Lagos has looked not great in some of his signings. Now, we'll see. The Darwin signing was great, and maybe Rodriguez and Ibarra Jr. will be great too.
Right.
Good.
But we have yet to see that.
Good point, and we haven't seen it yet. However, yesterday was the first game in which both our DPs were starting, you know, in their forward positions.
Yes.
With, Angelo Rodriguez and Darwin Quintero, of course. Did I get that right? Rodriguez is the other DP.
Yep.
Yeah.
Okay, so
Yep.
they were both starting up front. Now, Rodriguez didn't score a goal, but he got himself into a couple fantastic positions, and he had 2 header opportunities that were, and I think, unfortunately, just pushed wide. But
Yeah.
I think we saw something there.
We did.
Because some of those headers are going to find the back of the net eventually,
And
he
that-
got himself there.
And I pointed out at halftime, I said, look, we have never had that presence
No.
in the box.
No.
This big guy who is right there for a header. I mean, and it's important to point out that when I make comments about Christian Ramirez, I don't think Christian Ramirez is a bad player.
He's not a bad
I
player.
really don't. I think
Not a bad
he's
player.
very good.
Very good.
However, I feel like our system needs a different direction.
Exactly.
And I could get into it about arguments I've gotten into on Twitter about how should you change a system or should you change a player. I will go on record every day of the week and say you do not change a system for a specific player.
You don't.
Ever.
Ever. No.
If it's one player, you change the player.
That's right.
Plain and simple.
That's right.
And as much as I love Christian Ramirez, I mean, he seems like he's a very, very cool guy. I met him very briefly at the season ticket holders thing last fall.
Yeah.
And he seemed like a really cool guy. He was interacting with all the other fans there.
Yep.
Seems like a really cool guy. I follow him on Twitter. He posts a lot of pictures of his daughter. Seems like a very personable person, a very human person. And it's fantastic. I think he belongs somewhere. I just don't know that he belongs in our system. And so with that, Rodriguez seems like maybe he belongs more in our system. We have some guys in Ibarra who can cross the ball really well. Gomez showed hints of being able to cross the ball,
Yep.
occasionally. And Ibarra, junior, sorry,
Junior, yes,
Romario.
junior, yeah. Romario.
One of his strong suits is playing that advanced winger role that can interact with players in the box.
Yep.
Look, we need Rodriguez. Now, I don't argue that Ramirez can fit into a role in some sense. We just never have had that dominant position in the box.
No.
And I think Rodriguez fits that. Now, obviously, we've only seen him for one game.
Yep.
But even just one start, we saw a couple examples of where that is exactly the type of player that we need.
And I think it's all comes back to the fact that I think we got on Adrian Heath a little bit in the beginning of the season about not playing the right system and not getting your guys into fit into where they need to go.
Right.
Now I think he's gotten to a point where he says, okay, he's gone to Manny and said, Manny, I need this guy and this guy and this guy. I need these positions because having Christian in this position really doesn't fit what I'm trying to do.
Right.
Even though he scores goals, he's not fitting. So we go out and get Rodriguez, which is fine. So I think we're starting to see. Do you think Heath is putting a little pressure on Manny now to say, hey, we need to sign some better guys?
So I saw on Twitter some media people were talking about last night Manny was in the locker room And apparently, I mean, they kind of made it to be something that's not very normal.
Yeah.
And